This is Matters Arising, coming to you live from the Abuja studio of KAFTAN TV. We're glad to have you join us. Matters Arising is the flagship talk show of KAFTAN Television that features in-depth discussions and analysis of national and international issues by our team of seasoned broadcast journalists. My name is Dayo Omoogun. You're welcome once again.
I am Agala Jeremiah. It's a privilege to be here.
I remain Oriri Richard. Good evening.
Well, as usual, this program tonight promises to be engaging, incisive, and interactive. Beyond watching, we would like to invite you to be part of the show as you call to make your contributions on our phone number 080-299-38365, which will be displayed on the screen in the course of the show. Now, quickly, we'll go to... Now, remind me, you have had this joke probably somewhere, but I bring it to your remembrance once again. How somebody kept dying somewhere at a particular time, consistently over time. Have you heard that before? You've not. You apparently have not. Now, this happened in a hospital, and over time, it was noticed that at 7 a.m. every morning, somebody died. And then it was becoming worrisome. And so the authority set up a surveillance and said, look, we must get to the root of this problem. How is it that somebody dies at exactly 7 a.m. every morning in our hospital? And so they mounted guard. Some people praying and saying, if it's an evil spirit, that spirit must be exorcised. that spirit must be held bound.
This story looks interesting.
Exactly. And so they were there, and suddenly here walks in the cleaner. And she comes in and goes straight to where the life support machine is plugged.
Oh my.
Unplugs the life support machine, and plugs her phone.
That must be the ICU,
intensive care.
Yes.
Apparently, that's what had been happening over time that made people die at that particular time, because that's when she comes to work every morning to clean the place. And so they said, wow, Eureka! So this is what has been happening and killing our people, killing patients. Now, the bottom line of this, the lesson, the takeaway is that if you say education is expensive,
just try ignorance.
Just try ignorance. Very importantly, it's very important that when you bring in any staff, I mean house helps, even security organizations,
you need to give them certain training,
do some
take them around the environment, show them sensitive.
Before somebody will put boiling ring on your child's head and says he wants to turn it to Jerry.
Hey,
viewers, sit back for a moment as we invite Sifonumo to give us a recap of happenings and events around the polity. Thank you.
Nigeria Labour Congress has directed its affiliate members and all workers in the country to immediately shut down the economy if the Nigerian police arrest the Congress president, Comrade Joe Ajaero. The police had invited the NLC president to its headquarters on Monday night for questioning over the allegation of involvement in terrorism financing, amongst others. Briefing workers after the Emergency National Executive Council meeting, NLC Deputy President Kabir Adosani said Ajaero will honor the invitation but needed more time because of the short notice. Meanwhile, Amnesty International Nigeria has expressed concerns over what it describes as a concerted effort by Nigerian authorities to intimidate the Nigerian Labour Congress and its leadership. This was contained in a statement on Tuesday by Issa Sanusi, Director of Amnesty International Nigeria. Sanusi said that the organization is deeply concerned by the Nigerian authorities' fresh attempts to further intimidate and harass the NLC through threats of arrest of its president, Joe Ajaero. It urged the authorities to end this pattern of brazen impunity and respect the right of the labor unions to agree or disagree with government and its policies. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has said that it has not paid fuel subsidies to anyone in the last 9 years. The Chief Financial Officer of the company, Umar Ajia, made the clarifications in Abuja. Ajia said the Nigerian National Petroleum Company was only handling premium motor spirit importation shortfalls between the company and the Federation. He said that the company has been importing premium motor spirit, which landed at a specific cost, while the government instructs them to sell at half the price. In a related development, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has said its members do not get enough premium motor spirit supply from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited in the wake of scarcity of products sweeping across the country. An Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria official, Shina Amo, who spoke on national television on Tuesday, said the NNPCL, currently the sole importer of petroleum products, has failed to supply its members with adequate products capable of catering for the activities of its members in the last 3 years. That is all on the news roundup. I am Sifon Umo.
Welcome back, and thanks to Sifon Umo for the headline news update. Now, the topic for discussion tonight has to do with that tiny but troubling insect called mosquito. I'm sure you know a mosquito.
It's in every household.
I'm sure every household in Africa knows
It should be a
that
citizen of Africa now.
unwanted guest.
Yeah, sure.
And also, August 20th every year, that is today, is set aside as the day to commemorate the discovery by Sir Ronald Ross of the linkage, the association between the female mosquito, Anopheles, and the transmission of malaria. So every year we mark this around the world. Now, it's important that we pause and spare some time concerning this invasion of our health systems and our homes and our peace and our economy by such a tiny, but you know when they say small but mighty.
Sure.
Now, so tonight, that's what we'll be talking about. And the statistics are very scary.
Sure.
You have a situation where in 2022 alone, we had 249 million cases of malaria. And out of this, you had 608,000 deaths arising therefrom. So if it's not serious, then what else can you call it? And you can be sure that if that happened in 2022, the figures are most likely a lot
higher now.
Right now. Now, we all know that a bite, I mean, the knowledge that a bite from an effective mosquito can lead to malaria. But what do we do about it? In many aspects of our lives, we're full of knowledge, but the defining quality of wisdom is the application of that knowledge. So many of us, millions of people, are full of knowledge but still remain in the realm of foolishness because they fail to apply that which they know.
Sure.
So tonight we will be looking at what exactly are the simple steps we can take to ensure that this scourge is minimized. By the way, the good news is that malaria is preventable. Not only that it is treatable, but it is preventable. Okay. And we all know that prevention is better than cure.
Sure.
It's usually better and cheaper.
Sure.
And so also we know that health is wealth. Now, this is not a time to live carelessly. At a time, particularly in Nigeria, where you have a situation where everyone's hands are supposed to be on deck to ensure that the ailing economy is fixed, and at a time when medical personnel are jackpine. So this is not a time to live carelessly. This is the time to ensure that we minimize medical costs and ensure that as many hands, optimum hands, are available to turn things around. So we cannot afford to be careless with our health, and that's why we have brought this topic tonight. And I believe that everyone listening, everyone watching, will have something to benefit from at the end of this session. So we start by saying, now, have you had an encounter with a mosquito before? have you had, I mean, encounters with mosquitoes come with all kinds of things.
Agreed.
You could find yourself slapping yourself unnecessarily. And by the way, I hear that mosquitoes are very choosy. Sometimes when they look at people like us who are skinny like this, they look at this one and iron. No need to go there.
No blood.
No blood. They go for fleshy people who have some who are a bit robust, and unfortunately, many times that also falls in the area of our women.
Like you are identifying me.
But mostly women, they kind of have some affinity. After all, the Anopheles mosquito is female, so there's nothing too bad if the female has to attack the females. But taking it more seriously, we do know that the bites can lead to death. And so, what exactly should we be doing? What experience have you had? I mean, there are people who even have parasites, the malaria parasites within them.
Sure.
And they don't even know what the cause of their weakness, the constant headaches, and all that is. Tonight, we intend to shed some light. Some of these things you and I already know. You, the viewer, you know, but you are not taking them as seriously as you should. And that's why we come to challenge us that we need you. We want you to be around. We want you to contribute to this economy. We want you to live a healthy life so that we all together can make Nigeria great again. And so let's have your takes, gentlemen.
Somebody once said something. I think recently I got a message that in this economy, try not to be sick.
I tell you.
Try not to have police case.
Exactly.
So there are certain things you should
try avoid by all means. Yes.
I think basically it's talking about anything that would cost you extra.
Exactly.
Let it be that what you're looking for is what to eat.
Exactly.
And that's a good fight.
Anything that will cost you extra or that will disconnect you from your normal
basic
life activity.
You have to deviate from it.
So find a way.
It calls for intentional living. That's the idea. I've had cause to. I was once in Calabar. You know, I had this beautiful trip and I wanted to do a few things in Calabar. The night I got into the state, I fell sick. So it disrupted my activities for 3 days. I was treating malaria. It started all like a joke. I felt it was the cold, you know. When we came in here, Oga said they should off AC.
Yeah.
You know, so in my head I thought, okay, maybe it's just the normal cold, the weather and all that.
Yeah. I'm still treating malaria. I was admitted in the hospital last week.
Maybe if we test everybody has
president. No one is free from malaria in Nigeria.
He might be free from malaria because of the villa.
No. Villa is not the solution.
So mosquito has access to the villa everywhere. Okay. So that thing cost me 3 days extra treating malaria, and I couldn't do the things I needed to do. So this subject matter is actually one that must be taken seriously, and it's lingered for too long because it's always reoccurring. We keep talking about malaria year in, year out. Sometimes you hear issues of there are free malaria drugs here and there. It's being distributed. Sometimes they come up with free nets and all that. But it looks like the figures keep increasing by the year. Imagine the staggering figures you give for 2022. That's even generally 80%, I can tell, of those figures might be children.
Exactly.
Who do not have capacity to protect themselves.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that what these children go through. So much needs to be done with regards to checking this issue of malaria. It's something that we need to look at strongly.
Do you realize that children these days don't cry the way they used to cry before? No, seriously. When we were a lot younger, newly born children, some could cry throughout the night. And you know, it would be put to, oh, it was spirit that was disturbing them. It was baby, whatever, bush baby, all kinds of things were bandied about. Whereas the simple thing was that they were under the torture
of mosquitoes.
Yeah. And they will cry. You will hear the piercing cry in the night. That has reduced tremendously because of the knowledge that people have gained and the level that has been used.
In the morning,
but a lot more still has to be done.
In the morning, you might even see
rashes.
Some rash on their body. Exactly. They'll say it's heat, or they attribute it to something else.
Exactly, to a spiritual attack. Everything we can't explain, we say it's a spiritual.
I think, like you said, we need to begin to put our knowledge to practice.
Yeah.
We must begin to be intentional
about it.
Beyond just knowing that there is mosquitoes, the effect of mosquitoes. What are we deliberately doing as a people? You know, growing up, we used to have a general sanitation day where people take care of their environments. Recently, I'm doing a program with a leadership school, and we needed to take a community outreach to somewhere around Kuje in Abuja here. And when we got to that community, we needed to clean the community and all that. They were pleading with the community, our host community, to come out and join us and be part of what we are doing.
Imagine that.
But a lot of them were too busy. The truth about it is, you might be busy today, but when malaria knocks you down, where you are running to, you won't have capacity to do all of those running around. You know, so these were things we needed the community to understand. But some of them didn't see it from our perspective. We cleaned the community and we left. I'm sure if we go back to the same community, it's returned back to what it had always been.
And that's very unfortunate.
I don't know whether we've built it into our subconscious now to live in dirty environments. Sanitation days are no longer observed. It feels like there's something we are being deprived of. If we are asked to stay for few hours to get our communities cleaned up. In fact, why should we even have a messy community if everybody takes the responsibility of having their environment tidy, clean? What will be the need for even calling a community engagement? Do we need to wait for one week or 1 month to call a community meeting?
That brings my mind to the time where military were in operation in Nigeria, and I can tag it as indiscipline on the side of all of our citizens of this country. Like he said, mosquito is transmitted, malaria is transmitted by Anopheles female mosquito to a human being. And before you get the contact, you must have contact with environment like there are natural factors that causes this, and these natural factors can be like kind of temperature, humidity, rainfall, then human factor of it, which, like you said, I can tag as indiscipline on our side. Drainage system, our drainage system in this country, and again you can even check it to the side of the government as well, because majority of Nigerian population, we don't have piped water, and so many citizens, they store water at home in their containers, and that is another environment that can invite mosquito. If you go to most communities in Nigeria, just like the one, like what you said, open defecation is everywhere. Open defecation is everywhere. We don't have water enough, so people store water in the house. Our environment are so dirty that we can hardly have that self-discipline to keep our environment clean. And it's a very terrible, it's a serious problem.
It is. You know, one of the things that comes to mind is, I think we need to also hold some of these estate developers to account. Because many times they bill people for services they don't offer.
They don't render.
Because you are asked to pay a service charge, you are asked to pay some infrastructural fee if you are to move into an estate. Then you walk into certain estate and you begin to ask yourself, what is actually going on here? Because the refuge you see, you begin to ask yourself, what is do they even have a management? And yet when it is time to actually collect this service charge, they shut all the gates. Nobody goes in, nobody go out until their payments are made. So sometimes I think beyond our individual responsibility, there is supposed to be a regulation, both from the part of developers and also from the government, that would actually see to these things. That there should be a monitoring system where once in a while the government takes a stroll around some of these estates and look at the maintenance culture, look at how the environment is being kept, and then sanctions should be meted out. We live in a system where people do anything they want to do and go scot-free without anybody talking about it, because maybe he's highly placed or he belongs to a particular class.
And not just highly placed. What is all over everywhere now, especially in our democratic states, is human rights. During the military era, like you pointed out, when we were growing up, around 70, 80, they normally observe environmental sanitation in every community in this country. Where we have military sole administrators in the local government, we have military administrators as governors of states.
To enforce.
They enforce all these laws on the citizens. You must be disciplined. Maybe at the end of every month, last Saturday of every month is Environmental Day. It's in the mind of every woman from 7 a.m. to 10. Okay, to 10 o'clock. Just 2 hours or how many hours exercise. You must keep your environment clean. And if you are found moving anyhow that you are not within your environment to keep your environment tidy, they will arrest you, take you to where you will be punished, and a certain amount of money you will pay as a fine. That will serve as a deterrent. And you see many people were observing it almost everywhere. But the moment democracy returned back in 1999 again, they started talking about human rights and all of this and that.
Even when you declare sanitation, you still see people moving around like it's a normal day.
It's a normal day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if we have put out ourselves as people who need to be whipped into line, then it's about time government takes it up and does it, because it's far cheaper even for the government. It's far cheaper, it's far better. It ensures that the environments are clean and safe for habiting. Let's take this. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, we lost that. Now, so I think that government should think again of bringing some of those programs back. I think they need to. They need to. It's unfortunate that we have to really be driven that way. But if it will achieve some measure of compliance with sanitation standards, then I think it's worth it. Let's take this call and then we continue from there. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Onwatu Kenneth, calling from Onisha.
Turn down the volume of your TV set.
Can you turn down the volume of your TV set so it doesn't interfere with your contribution?
Okay, I'm out from there.
All right, great. So go ahead now and let's have your contribution. Wow. What's happening?
Could be network.
All right, okay. So now maybe government should take that role and play it again.
The challenge there is that we cannot, we should not be expecting federal government to go down to the rural communities, because most of these factors that lead to these mosquitoes breeding is mostly found in the rural areas, and I think that should be the responsibility of local government, and that's where we are calling for local government, the effectiveness of local government administration in this country. In every local government we have a department of health department, and they have a sanitation officer, environmental sanitation officer in every local government. They are the ones.
Let's allow this man to contribute. Hello. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. I guess there's a problem with the network. Now, please go ahead, Richard.
So, like I was saying, in every local government, we have a department of health, and we have an officer in charge of environmental sanitation at in every local government. So they are the one enforcing this order. But the challenge, I think, that they are having at the local level is funding most cases, because in those days where environmental sanitation was effective, they have mobility. They have motorbikes. They have even the vehicle, normal vehicle that they use in patrolling around the wards within the local government.
Hello, good evening. Hello. Yeah, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? We can.
My name is Agnes, sir.
Agnes, did I hear?
Yes, sir. My name is Agnes.
And you're calling from where?
I'm calling from Movie, sir.
From
Movie. Adamawa State.
All right, go ahead quickly. Let's have your contribution. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, what's your name?
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. What's your name?
How are you?
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Abdulrahman.
Go ahead. So you have a contribution to make?
Yes.
Go ahead. Where are you calling from?
From Kutigi.
Kutigi, that's Niger State, right? Go ahead quickly. Have you suffered mosquito bites before?
Yes.
All right, okay. So what do you have to say quickly?
I said she beg governor for us.
To do what?
A malaria mosquito net.
Okay, malaria mosquito net, right? That the governor should provide malaria mosquito net.
And what are you doing within your environment to prevent
But you also have a part to play. You can make sure that there is no stagnant water around your house. You can make sure that bushes that are unkempt are cut to size or cleared entirely, and those kind of things. And then also, I think that even homes should ensure there should be a minimum standard where every home has a net on the windows to prevent this unwanted guests. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right, thank you. Now, so like where we just went to, of course, government has a part to play, but we also have our own parts to play. Individually,
government have been doing their own part. They have been doing their own part seriously. They have been doing their own part. And most of these mosquito nets that she is talking about, even if you give it to them,
some of them,
majority of them, they don't use it.
They won't use them.
They don't use it.
So these are some of the.
They use it to even create net around the no, not just like where they are doing fishery, even vegetable around within the compound. They use it to prevent
rather than take care of them,
rather than using it for their own health purpose.
I think the government has a part to play. Beyond what we will do as individuals. The government should take up the responsibility. Have you taken a walk to any of these IDP camps? That's a disheartening sight. When you see how these people live, the way that environment is. You can't just, even you going there, you feel
nauseous.
Yes, so I think there's much more we should do. This has lingered for too long.
Jerry, hold your thoughts. Let's see if we can take this. Please don't lose your train of thought. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Very good evening.
Yes, so what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Noah Thompson.
Noah Thompson, yeah? And you're calling from where?
From Plateau State.
From Plateau State. It will be nice because all that we have is 30 seconds. If you can make your point very quickly.
Yes, as I was saying, the government, in their own doing, they have been trying, like from Plateau State where we reside, the governor shared mosquito nets, so which has reduced, I can say, the people that are using it properly, the type of mosquito. But in another way around, if you go to highly placed, maybe people that claim they have money, some will remove spare tires, they will keep it within their compound. When it rains, water will fill at the spare tires, it will generate and increase mosquito in there. Some people have ponds where they train fish, and if there is no more in use, you see mosquito living there.
Yeah.
So, where do they?
Wow. Thank you so much, Noah Thompson. Those are very good points that you made.
That's a very
good points you made.
Valid point. Valid point. That is why I said initially that the solution, majorly 70%, lies in our hands,
In the
hands of individuals, because we need to apply discipline, and like he said, we need to apply discipline. And some of these local farmers that have a pig farm within the compound, their compounds, they normally allow water to be, so the where pig used to go and they take water and they play. They allow it so open, and it's a very good environment for mosquito to thrive. You understand? So most family houses, like the woman who called, if you go visit some homes, like you said, you went to Kuje or so to see, you will see in a compound like this, you see where they dump plates, dirty plates with water unwashed
for days
unwashed. You understand? And such areas are areas where mosquitoes like to go and even hide. It's a problem that we should not even channel to. But the area where we blame government is most of these communities that don't have water. Government should provide normal water for them, so that they don't go to these ponds, allowing ponds within the communities. If you open water, most of our local markets, majority of the local markets in Nigeria, they don't have toilets. All the market users go to beach within the market to defecate, and it's wrong. Open defecation. It's all over in our communities. If government, like I submit I assisted the Ministry of Water Resources by writing something how this water sanitation problem.
Right.
What I saw from my community, from my local government, I gave it to him as my input to the development of Nigeria. If water and sanitation ministry can provide, at least pick key 3 major markets in our local communities, they are across the wards in Nigeria, over 8,000 how many wards in Nigeria. If they can pick 3 markets, put 4 toilets within the market, 3 for female, 3 for male, so that market users will have where to go and ease themselves. Then there will be water as well. that they will use. Market users will use the water to drink.
Okay.
Because most of we just talked about this cholera break in Nigeria of recent. So most of these villages, if you see the water they drink, change color, no pure water. Then you can't see water that is pure. Any water that is pure is colorless.
Should be.
But if you go to the villages, you see water, so muddy water everywhere. So the challenge is too multiple that we have to adapt self-discipline
we'll have to take
to
this
it.
call. Hello? Yeah. Good evening.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Mohammed. I'm calling from Niger State.
Go ahead. What do you want to say?
As a local government.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Please, they should talk to governors so that when this thing happen like that, because some people they don't clean the environment like our villages now. As they're starting farming now, you see their farm closer to their house. Those children used to eat in front of their house. This thing, you see the mosquito punch and the fly again. If you go buy this thing, the shit, you come and enter the food again, and they start taking the food.
Wow.
In our local area like this, the office again, some of our this thing, the health workers, some of them didn't know their work. Please, we want to make them introduce this Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So he's saying that they should reintroduce the Saturday cleaning exercise and maybe bring sanitation officers to enforce some of this.
This reinforces the need for the local governments. When we talk about enforcement, the federal government or the state government can go down to some of these things at the local community. We need enforcement. We need regulations. We have laws. We need these laws to be enforced, irrespective of who is involved or who is not. Sometimes they talked about ponds at home.
Yeah.
There are very few people that can actually go into such compounds and talk to the people.
And if you do, you become a
threat,
neighbor.
or you are an enemy to them.
Yeah.
But when it has to do with the government,
then
they will be able to say this and this should be in place before you can have this at home. You know, so I'm thinking we should do much more. I still need the government to get involved. But until we get the local government active and running.
Jerry.
Yes, please.
Just hold your thoughts. Yes. Hello. What's happening here?
Go on.
Until we get the local governments active and running, I think we need to, even the state government should do the little they can. Was it last year or a year before last? I was in Nasarawa. Nasarawa still observes the sanitation.
I think there are a few states where it's still holding.
They would even stop you from traveling. If you get trapped in the state, you have to wait till about 10 and all that. I think it needs to be reinforced. It creates a consciousness. It creates a sense of responsibility. But like you said, we shouldn't be whipped into doing what is right. These things affect our health.
Yeah, exactly.
The cost of treating malaria now is not
exactly. It's not a joke.
You know, all this agbo we drink here and there, beyond treating malaria, it's also affecting our system.
And some other complications.
Yes.
Let's take this. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello, sir. This is Mr. Black from Party Ukora State.
All right. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. So, due to the World Mosquito Day, even our own self, we are causing it. Because even from the water that we use in the local areas,
if you reduce the volume of your TV set, it will make you clearer.
Okay, sir. I'm coming.
Don't want to do because it will take more time.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, because we notify some waters that our mothers are used, they will leave some waters maybe like 15 days for the port.
My God. 15 days. Go ahead.
Yes, 15 days. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on. Nigerians are listening.
They are leaving it inside the port like that, like 15 days. So all those waters.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, all those waters, they can change color. So from that color, they can form like something you see like
of mosquito. Wow, wow. Thank you, Abdullahi from Pategi. We take your point. Your point is noted. Your point is noted. Your point is noted.
Okay, sir.
All right.
How do you keep water for 15 days?
So how?
Excuse me, please.
Hello?
Now, so you were saying something before that call was
like I said, there are still states that still observe this sanitation days.
Yeah, there are.
Now we must also understand that this is an introduction to a whole lot of other stuffs. Putting waters around your environment beyond malaria and all that, that's also what gives birth to the cholera.
Some of the cholera, yeah, that's
there are also other underlying diseases that can
thrive
using that pathway. So I'm thinking we should become responsible as a nation.
Exactly.
Let's take personal responsibility
for some of these things.
For some of these things, you don't need government to come and police you to tell you to keep your environment clean. How do certain people survive living around an environment where you keep water for 15 days?
For what?
What are you exporting the water? Or what do you intend to do
there's
with
a
it?
kind of laziness, I don't know whether it is laziness to call it, that you find right now that is creating problems. This is a little bit of a digression, but it's related.
I agree.
You find out that when rain is falling, people will bring their refuse
and then pour it into,
for goodness sake.
And then
so when the rain suddenly stops,
you blame the government.
You come and blame the government again for that. Now, when the rain suddenly stops, you find that those refuse are gathered along the path of the rain, which should not be. Let's quickly take this. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is MOSQUITO.
Can you make yourself a little bit audible?
Okay, I said MOSQUITO from Guarimpa.
O Square from Guarimpa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having such problems, at least a lot of points have been raised there. What is expected in such scenarios is going to the grassroots, because the problem is really down there. And we've talked about sanitation. That is the first point. They mentioned the health workers. You have them in the rural areas. When I say rural, where you still have some kind of businesses going around. I've seen them. I've gone quite a number of places in the south. What you notice is they are interested, the health workers you have there, they're interested in a few outfits. They will go and visit. It's easy for them to see something, what have you. But these people are the people that are needed. You talk about education. Enforcement is not usually the main thing. You know, the enforcement thing, most times we see it as a way of helping ourselves out. But if we want to really be serious about it, you've seen the way they talked about mosquito nets, how we need to use it to prevent mosquitoes and all that. But we know the cause of the breeding of the mosquito is basically the wastewater you have around. Let's target that as much as possible. Let the education we are talking about, the enlightenment, you want to make them aware of it. Let the health workers, it doesn't really take much. They have the staff there. Moving around, yes, might be an issue, but we know how it operates. Meeting with people, make it a regular activity, because sensitization is the most important thing when it comes to educating the people. So focus should be in that regard. Enforcement comes after so much has gone into the sensitization of the populace. So that's one important thing, because I know very well when you have the health workers, go to the councils, they have the health department, so they have quite a number of health workers. Find out what they are doing. So in bringing out or rolling out a plan.
Begin to bring your thoughts to a close.
Yeah. So basically that's what I'm saying. In handling this, going down there is very important.
Right.
They need to do that. The focus should be from that point before it's escalated up where we talk about the state government and what have you coming in. Yes, they are supposed to come in and intervene at certain points.
Thank you very much, O-Square.
Let's deal with the grassroots.
So O-Square is saying we need to take the enlightenment to the grassroots.
As much as I agree with him, I'm thinking there are certain levels of education you don't need right now. Are you saying in the city of Abuja, you need to educate people who live in Gwarimpa?
No, that's why he insisted
to have their environment cleaned.
Okay, okay.
Do you know?
Yeah,
do you understand?
I understand, yes.
If you go to Karo, after the Masalachi, if you're coming from Nyanya, there is a refuge dump there that
it's as high as
so once in a while they come and clean. I wonder how people even live in such an environment. You go deep down and you're going towards the Peggy area just by the road. You keep having these things and people live around. What level of education do you want to give to such people? These people are enlightened. Yes, are there people who need education? Yes. But you and I do not need this level of education to be able to know that our environment should be kept clean.
Yeah, but sometimes, Jerry, sometimes it's also a failure of the system because there are organizations that have been put in place.
We're back to the same point. The failure of a system.
Who are supposed to
be moving this way.
Yes, exactly. But they fail in their responsibilities. So again, on and on and on. It's a cycle that that should be broken, and because it does not help anybody, it does not help us as individuals. And I think that at this point, I also want to make this emphasis that look, if you find a neighbor who comes regularly to tell you, look, gathering puddles of water or basins of water, uncovered bodies of water is a threat to your health, please don't think that the person is a busybody. Don't think that the person is being a nosy packer. Is not his business. Why is he putting his nose into things that don't concern?
Unconsciously, it affects him. Because he's your neighbor.
Exactly.
So it affects him.
So that's why he's
interested
in efforts to help you.
We should even get to the point where we should be our neighbor's keeper at this point.
Exactly. I mean, I have been involved in situations where people have compounds or the roads are overgrown with weeds, and nobody is interested in doing anything about it.
So long as it doesn't affect your house.
I'm telling you will always have to come out and do this, and when you are even doing it, they look at you like
you have
nothing to do, and that's not right.
That's where we have to go back to what the last caller from Gwarimpa said. We have to take the campaign to the grassroots.
To the grassroots, yeah.
When the government in Nigeria was about the people, you see any newly elected or appointed local government chairman put a timetable in place. This day we are visiting this ward. This day we are visiting this ward. And before you go there, you will send message ahead
of time
to the traditional ruler in that community. Because the only department that can gather the entire community for you to go and talk to is the ward head. The traditional, that in most cases, in most areas like in the north, we call them district heads. They will make their town crier to make the announcement. So the local government chairman and his officials, they are coming to the community. Nobody goes to farm. My father was the district head of my community. Nobody goes to farm that day, because the district head have announced that every member of the community must be gathered in the community square. And when they come like that, and that is where chairman hear from the people the program that they will do for the community. After the chairman talk to the community, the head of the health department will come out to educate the community about health issues. Somebody in charge of agric will come out, because he move along with these people to the community. They will educate them, and that education go down. If they say grasses around your, you know, we can see Nigeria to be an enlightened country today, but if you go down deep, we still lack serious education.
Yeah, that's true.
We need it. And now our National Orientation Agency is not working. Even if National Orientation Agency is working, it can't go down to the grassroots.
Yeah.
What the grassroots people need is person-to-person communication, which is the responsibility of the local government. Now we need the local government to function effectively well. And that is why we are praying that this local government autonomy come to play, so that at the end, once they are having the fund directly from federal government and they have enough resources to carry out all these exercises, will to help a lot. Because now you talk about refuse site along the Jukwe area.
Yes.
That community is so large that even the households, they cannot keep the waste within their home.
So
there should be a point where the ones you keep from night in the morning, you take it to that point,
and then the
department in charge of moving this refuse to the farthest point in the community, they will come and move them, so that before tomorrow morning again, another one will be here today. But now that the local government, they don't have enough fund to do all of this. Most of the local government are not deserving local government again. States, they contract it to contractors.
Yeah.
And some of them don't even pay these contractors. So the contractors are not even working in line with what they are supposed to be doing. You get it?
It even goes to explain that even our
if you don't mind, Jerry, please, let's see if we could take this. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so what's your name?
I am Reverend Raphael calling from Kogi State.
Reverend Afe.
Hello?
Go on.
Yes, calling from Kogi State.
Yeah, please go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, I really enjoy the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is a very serious issue in our society today.
Very.
You could see some neighbors will connect their sockaway pipe to the gutter.
My.
I'm just coming from a particular area in my area, and I saw a lot of pipe from sockaway to drainage. That is a serious matter that is eating the community today. And not only that, you can see that even in our own local government, this one, when we are growing up, they call them this environmental.
Wole, yeah?
They are. When we are growing up, our mothers always think they are coming. You see the youth, we carry our home and weed around the community, around your house. But today, you can now see that even in the state headquarters that we have, you can only see them walking around the road, the major road. They don't even come into the town to know what is going on. The place I pastor, there is a man, they say he stays in Abuja, that has a off-tier. This man has a fish pond in the midst of community. When the fish pond is freed up after 5 days, he will release it into the government gutter, and the whole community will be smelling. After you reported to the environmental, they will ask you for mobilization fee.
Before they go and enforce it.
Imagine, like being asked to provide money for paper at the police station and biro.
They will now tell you that they have to arrest 5 or 2 houses.
So that it can be cost effective, so that they won't go after just one person.
Yes. They won't go. Then at the end, when you discover all this process,
the best thing is to keep your problem to yourself.
Become tired.
Yeah.
So the church have to derive a formula of getting what they call it, chlorine, and be pouring the chlorine so that the church can have a service.
Wow, very good contribution from you, Reverend. Thank you.
So please, we are encouraging this kind of program to go down so that the people can, even some of the religious house, their place of urinating. They connect the path to the road.
Well,
They are toilet.
thank you. I guess you. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm suggesting a mobile court. A mobile court.
Yeah. So the Reverend is suggesting a mobile court, which is in line with some of the things we have talked about enforcement. So tonight, I think that's big on some of the points that we have made, and I think that as we begin to draw to a close, at the best, maybe we'll take just one more call if a call comes in, and then after that, we will be on the home run. And so some of the points that have been made, and I think that all of us need to listen to these things and make them effective, is that we need to be intentional about reducing puddles around our homes, water that is in open containers, and so on and so forth. This kind of fish ponds that are and so on. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I'm Agala from Taraba State.
Please go ahead. Let's have your contribution.
All in all, that is ongoing. This political intervention, the placement of the government, the placement of the agents in the office, to bring the junior one on top, and if you don't know anything, how will you do the work? And at the same time, the phone that is put it out for the certification have been put as if it's an inheritance to the officer in charge. How will you think administration of certification will go well? And that is why what we are saying, that government is the father, as a father in the house. You will give directives. So if government can make the 3 tiers of government give well, yes, things will go normal. Thank you.
Thank you very
much.
That's the point again, emphasizing the place of the local government. We do hope that that with this judgment and with the committee that was set up today, you were talking about that earlier.
The Presidential Committee on the enforcement of autonomy, local government autonomy.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Because we're making our last lines right now.
Okay. The committee set up by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Secretary to the Government of the Federation is the chairman of the committee set up by the President to enforce this autonomy of local government that was that the Supreme Court ruled on the 11th of July. And if that happens, I think funds will go directly to local government, like what we are discussing now, environmental, water and sanitation generally is local government responsibility, and that is if we get it right from the local government, from the communities area, we have gotten it right at the center. So but in any case that we are calling on government, the bulk of the whole thing stop on our table, because as citizens, if we keep our environment clean, you are keeping your nation clean. And you are equally keeping yourself clean, because if your environment is dirty, you are the one that is dirty.
That will suffer it.
And mosquito is not a respecter of anybody. I just said it.
Mosquito is not your friend.
It's not a friend of anybody. So
I think we should become intentional. That's all I would say. We should become intentional.
Yeah.
The government has a role to play. We have a role to play. Traditional institutions have a role to play.
Yeah.
The era where we say they don't have what to do is over.
It's over.
Let them get involved in some of these things. They have more than enough on their hands to do.
So the closing remark is that we all have a role to play. We'll leave it here till tomorrow again, when another beautiful edition will come your way. I'm saying thank you to every caller from Taraba, from Plateau, from Kogi, from Onitsha,
from
Mubi, every one of you, from Kutigi, from Pategi in Kwara State. Thank you very much for being a part of this show. And I want to also use this opportunity to say thank you to our executive producer, Ruben Okala, and every member of the production crew, and everyone here. Once again, my name is Dayo Omoogun. Good night.
Agala Jeremiah, good night from me.
Oriri Richard, good night.
And as we say at KAFTAN Television,
imagine a beautiful Nigeria.